Well, like the editors of Teen Vogue are generally well-meaning, but they just have gone off the rails a little bit in this way or that way. Or is there like uh, some some evil force pushing us in this direction? Where what would you say to that?
Um, I think it's kind of both, actually. Like, I I don't think there's like a single like cabal of like rich people who like control the world. But I do think that there are like clusters of very like wealthy people who have competing interests that
Yes.
certainly influence the media, and then the media then influences social media, which then influences people in the real world.
Yeah.
I also don't think it's like quite as bad as like your average 13-year-old, having anal
No.
sex on the first day. I mean, that would be truly crazy, and I think would be a dystopia that none of us are ready to grapple with. And
Yeah,
thank
it's not
God
so
it's
much
not that.
yeah, I'm sorry, it's not so much that that's happening. It's like they're trying to normalize it. They're trying to
Right. Well,
say,
what I think is weird that we don't mention very often is, you know, even though the press has weakened in a lot of ways, it's still the best way to get an idea out. Like for example, like I have a pretty big following on Twitter, but I know if I'm really passionate about a story, I'm going to pitch it to a publication and hopefully get published in a publication that's not my own blog, right? Like the
right,
press, even small scale, uh, digital publications or print publications have way more power and way more influence than just individuals on their own, which sucks. And
yeah,
the thing that isn't really appreciated or spoken about is the relationship between publicists and digital publications. So, um, you know, not all, but a lot of articles that you will read in something like the New York Times, for example, are the product of pitches from publicists. Um, so that means like, a company or a person's publicist will email a journalist. They might have a relationship with them. It might be a cold email, and they'll say something like, um, "Here's the headline. My client has a great new app or great new company. Blah blah blah. Here's
right,
the story. Will you write about it?" And usually, there's a high rejection rate of this, but like a lot of people do get through, and a lot of articles, like I don't know what percent, let's just say for argument's sake, like 60% of news articles you read, especially ones about companies or ones that reference apps, companies, or people, of the product of this kind of publicist pitching a piece. So how this links back to porn, I think people underappreciate that in the 2010s, MindGeek, um, their PR people were pitching articles to publications for young people like Vice and Jezebel, and that whole suite of, like, we all know
yeah,
what publications are talking about, BuzzFeed, and they were getting through, and that is a big reason why these things, why these things have been normalized. It's a PR campaign, and the deeper problem there is, everything is a product to be purchased, and I don't know if it's evil in the sense that I think that it has had a terrible impact on our society, but look at another way, they're a company like any other that's trying to make a dime,
sure,
and what you know it what is the solution to that? We need to like reimagine the press. We also maybe like need to rethink, like, regulating porn more. I mean, there's a lot of other solutions to this problem, and I don't that don't get discussed because I don't think we think about all the ways that companies of any kind advertise themselves and what the consumer relationship is. Like, I don't think we think enough about the fact that, like, ultimately with most things, as Americans especially are, they're a market, they're consumers, and they're looked at as consumers.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm I'm in favor of freedom, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and all of those things. But there has to be a way to move us in a more positive direction, or else I don't see this. I don't see us lasting much longer. I think there's been. Um, I mean, I think especially for the last like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, I feel like the darkness has ascended, or has descended rather. It's gathering, and people are more aware of it, and people are less inclined to be dismissive of it. Um, there's some sense of impending apocalypse out there right now, and it's not just people on the right, people on the it's not just conservatives saying what's happening to or the kind of pearl clutching or uh, you know sensationalist like journalism about exposing this atrocity or that atrocity. I feel like it's a more all encompassing thing. Uh, and I don't know. This is kind of a gloomy way to finish up our conversation. But can we avert the apocalypse? Do you think?
I mean, anything's possible. I just think that people are trying to it's a hard. A lot of the problems we have are difficult to fix because I think they go deeper than people realize. Like I think I think the things that need to be fixed, like we're trying to treat symptoms, and we still don't really have a good idea of what the underlying sickness is basically what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And you can take Tylenol for your headache, but if you have a headache because you have diabetes, you're not.
Yeah.
You need to fix the diabetes. You don't
Yeah.
need to fix the headache. And
Right.
I think that's sort of how we approach our problems.
And if your culture has cancer, you don't just treat it like it has a like it has I don't know, a cold.
Exactly. But I don't think that's not, I don't think it's because people are like lazy or anything. I think it's that we don't know where the cancer is yet.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people don't know where the cancer is, and it could be in multiple places, and it's a very daunting problem to solve.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, it's been about an hour, and I know you've got things to do and places to go, so we can wrap this conversation up right now. But it's been very interesting. I'm glad we got in touch, and it's been interesting to talk to you. And I do hope we can talk some more sometime in the near future.
Yeah, sure. I mean, thanks for having me on. It's been great to chat with you too. Anytime.
Okay, great. Well, Andy Nowicki here with Default Friend, and I will again leave a link to her Substack so you can peruse her work on your own if you haven't read her stuff yet. Thanks for being on with me.
Yeah, have a great day.
You too.